This table is for family. That's what they told me. While I was standing right there. Not invited. Not included. Just tolerated. But somehow, when the waiter dropped a $2,500 bill on the table, every single one of them suddenly looked at me. Like I belonged again. Like I was finally useful. They thought I would stay quiet. They thought I would pay. What they didn't realize was, I had been silent my whole life. And that night, I decided I was done being their backup plan. My name is Hannah. I'm 27 years old, living in London. And if there's one thing I learned growing up, it's this. In some families, you don't need enemies. Because your own people can make you feel invisible. I wasn't always treated like this. At least, not obviously. It started slowly. Small things. Being left out of plans. Not being asked for opinions. Watching my younger brother get praised for things I was expected to do. It wasn't loud. It was quiet. Consistent. And over time, it became normal. I worked hard to build my life. A stable job. A small flat. Independence. Not because I wanted to prove anything, but because I learned early. No one was going to hand me anything. One evening, my mom called me. We're having a family dinner this weekend. You should come. That word should felt strange. Not we want you there. Just, you should come. Still, I agreed. Because no matter how distant things felt, a part of me still hoped. Maybe things were changing. The restaurant was expensive. The kind of place where everything looks perfect. But nothing feels real. I walked in and saw them already seated. Mom. Dad. My brother. His girlfriend. Laughing. Relaxed. Like I wasn't missing. When I reached the table, my dad looked up and said, "Oh, you made it." Not happy. Not surprised. Just neutral. There was one empty chair. At the end of the table. Not next to them. Not part of the circle. Just there. I sat down quietly. Trying not to think too much. Trying not to feel what I was already feeling. A few minutes later, the waiter came over. He looked at me and asked, "Are you with them?" Before I could answer, my brother laughed and said, "She's kind of with us." Then my mom added, "This table is for family." And smiled. Like it was a joke. But it wasn't. Everyone laughed. Except me. In that moment, something inside me went quiet. Not broken. Just quiet. Because I finally understood something. I wasn't sitting at that table as family. I was sitting there as an extra. The night continued. Conversations flowed. But not with me. I was there. But not included. Every time I tried to speak, it was ignored. Redirected. Or interrupted. Then came the small comments. "Oh, you're still working there? That's a modest job, right? You've always been the independent one, haven't you?" Each sentence sounded harmless. But together, they built something heavy. Dinner kept going. Drinks. Starters. Main course. Laughter. Photos. Moments. None of them mine. At some point, I stopped trying. I just sat there. Listening. Watching. Realizing. And then it happened. The moment that changed everything. The waiter came back. holding a black folder. He placed it gently in the middle of the table. And said, "Whenever you're ready." No one moved. No one spoke. Just silence. Then slowly, my brother pushed the folder toward me. And said casually, "You've got this, right?" I looked at him. Then at the bill. $2,500. My mum smiled softly. "You're doing well, it's not a big deal for you." That's when everything clicked. The invite. The seat. The comments. The distance. This wasn't a family dinner. It was a setup. They didn't want me there. They needed me there. For a moment, I said nothing. I reached for my bag. Took out my card. Placed it on the table. Everyone relaxed. Smiles returned. Energy shifted. Then I picked up the card again. And said calmly, "I thought this table was for family." Silence. No one laughed this time. I stood up. Looked at each of them. And said, "I'm not family when it comes to respect." A pause. "But I'm family when it comes to paying?" No answer. I placed the bill back in the center. And walked away. No shouting. No drama. Just truth. Behind me, I could feel the silence. The discomfort. The realization. But I didn't turn back. Because for the first time in my life, I didn't need their approval. I stepped outside. Took a deep breath. And felt something I had never felt before. Freedom. Not from them. But from the need to belong to people who never made space for me. Now I want to ask you something. Have you ever been treated like you don't belong, even in your own family? Or felt like you only matter when someone needs something from you? Tell me honestly in the comments. And if you want more powerful, real-life drama stories like this, subscribe to Claim Drama Stories. Because the next story might hit even closer than this one.